recording?
Yes, it's recording. Hey, guys. I'm
Hi.
here with Josh Bardier. Wait, move your camera down. I want to see
Oh, my God. This is a podcast. I'm not supposed to be on screen.
I might actually use this video for promotion stuff, too, which would be cool. Oh, yeah, surprise. Did you put on your makeup?
Yeah, I'm so ready.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm here with a performer, Josh Bardier. You may know him from ACTORIA. He is what you call one of those definite famous people in the Queens area. He's like laughing right now. But you guys, I'm just going to start off with this and promoting what he does. He is the person who has founded, who co-runs it with his roommate, ACTORIA. And this is a very safe space for performing artists to come and sing songs. And Lord knows, we have a lot of places, cabarets and such like that. But this is one where you can truly just be yourself, take risks, and feel very comfortable. Or if you don't, get back to that comfort level that you've always wanted as a performer. So he is a great contributor to that group feeling we need in the musical theater community, I would say specifically. So first of all, thank you so much, Josh, for agreeing to come on today.
Of course. You're so welcome. Thank you for responding to my post when I asked if I could please be on people's podcasts.
Oh, yeah, I know. It was so great. I thought I would love you. Josh is so good at pulling content out of his tush. I was like, I could bring up anything and he'll do it. And we were actually joking before we started recording it. And I was saying, don't worry, we're going to do this on something you know. And I was saying, well, what if I said the science of the knee? And he's like, oh, my God, I was worried about that because this is all about health. But, you know, along with health comes the psychological component. Now, I'm a physical therapist. That is not my expertise. However, we can definitely speak from experience. Experience is very, very key. We have people who may not have a scientific background, but definitely from expert opinion, and knowing from our own experiences can definitely help each other.
Absolutely.
Live. Yes. So Josh is coming on today to talk about becoming or being a supportive person in the musical theater community. If you know somebody who is dealing with any type of injury or health, the vocal struggles, anything, how we can really come together to be there for each other rather than give each other time limits on how long it should take each of us to get better, or when we're judging, oh, well, I saw this person do that, so they should be fine. Like, you're not the one hurt. So we're just going to stab right at this issue. Very, very, very valuable and very important thing to discuss. And I think it's going to take a while for us to get to this mindset of togetherness. So first of all, Josh, I would love for you to share any stories of yours that where you have been either injured vocally or even going through something psychological, and what it was like for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that I didn't know what we were talking about today, because you're going to get a full-on discussion of me not preparing anything, which is basically my entire life.
Which is why he's so perfect for this.
As soon as you said that, though, yeah, let me dive right in. I think one of the scariest things as a performer, but especially as a singer, is you are constantly worrying about your voice. And I want to say it was either 2 or 3 years ago, I was in a voice lesson and I was having trouble with range. I wasn't able to go as high as I normally was able to. And my voice teacher, who is very, very well respected, very highly educated, stopped playing and looked at me and said, does it feel like you have like cellophane wrap on your vocal cords when you sing? And I said, yes. And he looked at me and he went, I think you have a yeast infection. I didn't know one could get yeast infections on your vocal cords. I only knew yeast infections existed in other places.
Yes, for the lady parts. Yes.
Yes, and you fix that by drinking cranberry juice, according to my grandmother. Just lots of cranberry juice.
Or yogurt. Yogurt's a big thing.
So So I looked at him and I was kind of like a little taken aback. And I remember just like saying to him, but I haven't been with a man for so long. How could I get this yeast infection? And he, of course, like laughed because typical Josh fashion. I made a joke about it, but I did. I went to an ENT and I found out that I had a little swelling and I had a yeast infection on my vocal cords. And I looked at her and I said, how do you get such a thing? And she said, it could be anything from diet to stress to not sleeping well enough to the air. It could be anything. And I just remember being very, all of a sudden, never really having a vocal problem ever before, becoming very, very vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Because she was telling me the prescriptions that I was going to take for a couple of days, the next 4 weeks, what my diet was going to be, get of anything. It was, and I was listening to all this, and it really was the first time where there was a physical reality that was in the way of what I just naturally woke up and did every single day. And so the vulnerability that I felt because of that, it took me back. I mean, the first thing that she said to me was no alcohol for 4 weeks. And that was...
That's part of ACTORIA.
I mean, at that point in time, that was like an incredible shock to me. I have to say, like, I'm grateful that it happened because I really, really have, as far as alcohol, stopped drinking as much as I used to. But it at that point, I mean, I was in my mid-20s and I was like, oh, please, I could drink 2 bottles of champagne and go to an audition if I had to. And all of a sudden, every reality that I had of what I can and can't do was put to a halt. And I realized that I was going to have to modify and change everything that I was doing to be able to first heal, and then to see if after healing, if there was this time in between where, because I wasn't necessarily going to voice lessons and auditioning at the same rate that I was because I needed to take this step back, if it was going to require however long for me to get back to a place of being what I considered my normal. And it was scary. And I'm very grateful that at least in that same meeting that I had with my ENT, that she said, you know, you have no scars on your vocal folds. There's nothing else going on. This is very, very simple to take care of. Don't worry. The worst thing you can do is stress about it. But I've come to realize in my life that anytime somebody says something like, don't stress about it, don't worry about it, my brain automatically wants to worry more. Red flags go up everywhere. Because I'm in my head, I'm going, I know that you're saying that from your side of the table, but from my side of the table, this is the first time I'm experiencing this and I'm terrified. And it's scary because, especially with your vocal cords, you're very aware in how you speak and how you sing. As a singer, you're just so aware of what's going on that when you notice a difference and then you're aware of what the difference is and what's causing it, it's a very sensitive situation. And I felt myself for that. I mean, especially having my roommates and friends, they were blown away by how serious I was taking it. And
had any of them experienced anything like that themselves?
No, it was kind of the joke of everyone is, of course, I'd be the first in my life to guess yeast infection on my vocal cords. But I have had many friends who have had everything from swollen glands to very, very swollen vocal cords to people who have had nodes on their vocal cords or the beginning of nodes. So I did have many people who may not have experienced the yeast infection, but definitely know what it's like to go to an ENT and be told, yes, there is something going on.
Yeah, for sure. So during this time, it sounds like you were in amongst a supportive group of people, correct?
I would say so, yes. I mean, I was very, very grateful that I have a voice teacher who could tell immediately what the problem might be and said, you know, I don't want you to worry, but I want you to go to a professional and I want you to go and get this checked because I don't want in the future anything to happen. And I think that for your peace of mind and just for both of us, going to visit the ENT to get this checked out would be very, very valuable to do with your time.
Actually, just to promote, because I believe in promoting each other. Who's the name of this amazing vocal teacher?
At this time, this was the one and only Mike Ruckles.
Mike Ruckles. How do you spell in case somebody wants to Google them?
Mike and Ruckles, Ruckles. The Mike Ruckles voice studio.
Perfect. All right, continue.
Yeah, I was very, very grateful that he has the training and has the education and has the knowledge and experience to have noticed that so quickly. All I was doing was basically singing "ooh," and he knew immediately. I was also very, very grateful to friends that I had that when this happened, they, of course, we made jokes about it because we get through, my friends and I get through everything with humor. But they understood that alcohol was going out of the window for a little bit and my diet was going to change. And as silly as some of that sounds, for friends to be able to go, oh, we don't have to go to a bar tonight, or if we do go to a bar, don't worry about it, like just grab a seltzer water, or we know that you might not stay out as late because we know you're not drinking, or let's go to this restaurant because I know that they have options that you can eat for the next couple of weeks. Those are little things that are just so considerate and empathetic to people. And for me, especially when friends of mine will do small little acts of kindness like that, just to make my life a little easier, or more so because they know I don't want my life to impede on somebody else, but for them to be able to say, it's not, don't worry about it, let's still continue doing what we always do, is pretty wonderful. It really is.
It is. I'm so glad you have that. Have you heard of that always being the case for your other performer friends?
No. I think it's very, very difficult. And if I go outside of the my own personal experience and go a little more towards as a host, especially of ACTORIA, and being an actor in this community, I definitely spend a lot of time talking to people and hearing what's going on in life. And we do have a fantastically supportive community. We tend to, each and every one of us has pockets of artists and actors who we know, who we support and we care very much about. But this city is hard. And when it comes to support as far as injuries, it is challenging, like you spoke about, because many people have gone through injuries or have gone through difficulties as other people have. And it is very, very easy to put your experience upon somebody else's experience. And that seems like support in the beginning. And it seems like, I believe truly that most people do that, put their experience on somebody else in the effort to be helpful. In the effort to show that they themselves have gotten through something. But it can be equally as isolating. And it can be, as much as it may seem like it can be helpful, it can really feel like the other person isn't listening to you.
Listening is huge. Listening is very huge.
Listening is the most important thing that human beings can do. It's something that I practice every day because I am a natural talker. I love to talk. I can't say I love to hear myself talk, but I love to. I get that. I totally get that. Yeah, I love to say things that my mom always said best. She said, "You tend to say things that other people would love to be able to say." And that really meant a lot as I was growing up, because I was a very shy kid. And when I decided to start opening my mouth, I just never shut up. But I do think in the realm of listening, it's the most important thing that we as humans, but also we as actors, can really learn how to do. And it's not just listening for the sake of listening, it's active listening. And that phrase is thrown around in BFA schools so often to try to teach people how to act, but it truly is I mean, the word active is such in the sense of it's such an action word. It is, it means that there is something going on, that listening is not idle, that listening is not just sitting there and absorbing information, but it has a lot to do with being able to not only listen, but take a step back, put yourself in the shoes of somebody else. And then I learned this from a fantastic author, Brené Brown. Highly recommend all her books. Asking yourself, is the person in front of you sympathy seeking or empathy seeking? Sympathy seeking, meaning they just need somebody to sit there and listen to what is going on in their life, what their struggle is at the moment, and having an open ear, but they need a little bit of distance away from other people's expectations and advice. They just need to be heard. To be heard is very important. While empathy seeking is they need somebody to be able to put themselves in that person's shoes and have a dialogue that can allow more growth to happen, in the sense of whether it be brainstorming possible ideas on how to help the situation, or life experience examples, or just being able to be there in a more solid way for somebody that isn't just listening. And I kind of butchered what Brené Brown does.
No, I think this is great. I want to do an example. Just if there's possible to maybe move your hand. Oh, I think that's hitting your mic is hitting your zipper or something.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So anyway, I would love to do an example, an impromptu example.
Love it.
Yeah. So with me saying something and how you would be the sympathy listener, and then I'll say the same thing again, and you giving an empathy response.
You got it.
All right. So I broke my foot and I feel all alone. So this is sympathy seeker. So I'm just telling you, I broke my foot and I feel all alone.
Immediately, I would feel the urge to want to say, I'm so sorry that you seem upset right now. I would take the emotion and what you're giving me, and I would say, I'm so sorry that that's happening to you. I'm sorry that you're in this place right now.
Great. And then we'll do the empathy. So I just broke my foot. I feel so alone right now. So empathy response.
I can imagine how hard this time must be for you. There's been times in my life where I feel like I have been so down on myself and so upset because something that's out of my control has happened. Yes,
I love that. And so, and for empathy, is that where the idea is to give advice? Because it sounded like that in your description, but in how you just responded now, it wasn't actually advice.
I think maybe in my description, I'm a little off because I'm still practicing this every single day to try to learn it.
Wonderful.
And I feel it's not about giving advice. It's about being able to position yourself in a way that you are not just, you are listening to what you're being told, you are putting yourself in the shoes of somebody else and the situation that is existing at that very moment. And you're also asking yourself, what can I give? What can I give? And advice is never the first answer. Anyone who wants to give advice as their initial response to anything needs to take a step back and take a breath. I personally believe.
No, I agree. I actually agree. Yeah.
A lot of us, especially in this day and age, think that we're experts on things that we're not. We think that our experience is going to be a blanket experience for everybody else. And by doing that, we shut off the individuality in every single person's experience and healing process. And that's a key word, is process. Everybody has their own process. Some people love to use the word journey. It's a great word. Everybody has their own journey. And putting your journey on somebody else's journey is not helpful for either person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that. I think That is so key. And bouncing off of that, however, when you go to a health professional, since this is a health-based podcast, when you go to a professional, you are the expert of your own body. Never ever doubt that. Your experience is 1,000% true. And if anybody corrects how you are experiencing it, run away.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And I will always say this. If you get an opinion from an expert and you truly inside yourself do not agree with it or do not believe it to be true, that is when the age-old get a second opinion comes into play.
For anyone.
For anyone and anything. It could be anything. Truly, it could. It could be an injury. It could be a therapist. It could be a social worker. It could be a dentist. Whatever it is.
It could be a Broadway producer.
Exactly. It's just that. It's an opinion. It's truly an opinion. Granted, with professionals, it's an educated opinion. There's more to it than just your everyday Joe Schmo giving you their thoughts on something, but it's still just an opinion. And I think especially if we could all do more of a better service to ourselves and allow ourselves to listen to ourselves more, we would all be better off. If we listen to our own bodies and actually take that time to really begin that practice of truly just being in tune with ourselves, that's not just actor talk. That's not just artist talk. That's everyday talk. The difference between, my mom always says this, the difference between knowing what's going on in your body and needing to take the 3 Advil is sitting down, taking a breath and listening. Yep. I love that. Don't take the 3 Advil. Don't take the 3 Advil because, I have a headache coming on. Take a second to figure out why the headache's coming on, maybe. Is it because you haven't drank enough water? Is it because you're in a stressful situation? Is it because your breath has changed? Take a second. Your body...